Mayor has over 21 years of public service to our community, beginning with serving on Park and Rec Commission, and then as a Post Falls City Council member for 15 years. He served as a council president for 2 years and also served on Urban Renewal Agency. Mayor Jacobson is very committed to the community and his involvement, where he is the current member and past president of the Rotary Club of Post Falls and was named Rotarian of the Year in Post Falls. He's a past president of the Post Falls Education Foundation, current Rotoplast, am I saying that correctly? Ambassador, past member of the KROC Advisory Board, past member of North Idaho College Foundation, current member of the St. Vincent de Paul Capital Cabinet, and the past chair of the Holy Family Catholic School Board. Ron attended North Idaho College, received a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from the University of Idaho, and is a graduate of the Pacific Coast Banking School. He is currently the Senior Vice President at Bank CDA in Coeur d'Alene, and Ron and his wife Susan have 4 children, 2 grandchildren, and Susan is an amazing cook and makes the best salsa I've ever tasted. And with that, Mayor Jacobson, thank you for coming.
Thank you, and that's good. It's a pleasure to be here today. I want to thank the Chamber. Post Falls Chamber of Commerce has been a vital economic development partner for the city of Post Falls, and collaboration is the key to the success the city has seen in 2016 and that we anticipate continuing into 2017. Before I start, 2 things. Grading, don't sell yourself short. Grading, Stanley gave new definition to the term cumulative GPA. So Braden did have a 4-point, but it took him 4 years to get there. So don't sell yourself short. Secondly, I want to introduce 2 people. My wife Susan, who is here with us again today, and my mom Catherine, who became a resident of Post Falls this year. Mom doesn't stick to things too often. She only lived in Coeur d'Alene for 90 years, so it's time she's out in Post Falls. Soon to be 91. The city of Post Falls has experienced a very busy year, as you may well expect, and I don't think any state presentation would be complete without numbers, so I'm going to give you a few. Through October, we have issued 298 single-family building permits and 24 multifamily building permits. This number is close to, or may actually set the record for the highest annual dwelling unit expansion for the city on record. We've also issued 32 commercial building permits. Total building and mechanical permits, which include both plumbing and electrical, are through the end of October 1,508. Last year, for the whole year, was 1,293. So as you can see, we are on pace have already beat that record, or beat that number and we'll set a record. The building permits, it's good to see because it reflects a nice blend of activity between residential, commercial, and industrial. I've always said that in order for Post Falls taxes to come down, we need to broaden our tax base, and we can do that through business and industrial expansion. So we're on the right path, and it's been a good year thus far. Subdivision activity for our community includes 14 active subdivisions that are under construction or being finalized. In addition, there are 8 more subdivisions under review. Subdivision activity is occurring throughout the community with significant growth in the northeast portion of the city. I'm going to mention some businesses by name, some of the newer and or larger businesses, but please know that the existing businesses in Post Falls, the small businesses, those who have been here for a long time, you are the heart and soul of the community and the heart and soul of the Chamber of Commerce, and it's you businesses that make us successful and help us attract these additional businesses. I was pleased when the governor spoke last week in Coeur d'Alene. He announced that the Department of Commerce has designated a person to head up a new, I don't know if it's a committee or agency or department, but it's there will be in charge with business expansion and retention. We can bring in all the new businesses in the world, but if we're losing existing businesses out the back door, we're losing ground. So I'm glad to see that the governor realizes the importance of that. We will have assistance from the state level in that regard. During 2016, 61 new businesses were issued business license through the city of Post Falls. Please see the list of those businesses inside the informal brochure that will be handed out at the end of the meeting. To date, the city has processed 18 commercial site plans in 2016, with 3 more currently under review. When I was running for mayor 3 years ago, one of the things I said was jobs is an important thing for the city. So that was going to be the emphasis. And let me be the first one to tell you, the mayor doesn't create jobs. Our city council doesn't create jobs. It's a collaborative effort with everyone involved. We do it as a team. There's no one person that does it on their own. So our success, again, has been through collaboration. But jobs was a very important thing for me when I was running for mayor. So one of the first calls I got when I was elected was from a friend I had known for over 20 years, Mr. John Hemmingson. John says, Ron, he says, I'm going to pick up some property in Post Falls. I want to get into the development game, but I also want to let you know that we will be bringing a company over from Spokane to Post Falls. So Dan Jorgensen is the gentleman that started Advanced Thermoplastic Composites. Wonderful company. They gave me a tour a while back, made me sign a non-disclosure agreement, which I found is very interesting because I have no idea what they did. I watched them make the composite. I watched the parts that they make, and I can't understand it. I'm not smart enough. So, but I did sign the non-disclosure agreement. But currently they built a new facility about 65,000 square feet just west of Kimball's, what was the Kimball's building, and they currently employ 80 people, and they anticipate adding another 80 people within the next 2 years. So I thought, great, first call, 80 new jobs. One of the next calls I get, President, CEO of Kimball International, announcing that while they love Post Falls, they're consolidating their operation in Indiana for economic reasons. 220 jobs out the door. So, well, it was a good start. Not going so well at that point. Then Thomas Tedder, I don't know if Thomas is here. Thomas Tedder calls. We get a call that the outlet malls are being looked at by a company wishing to purchase it and expand. Every year, Gary Schneidmiller Realty, Coldwell Banker Realty, have a real estate forum. And they talk about commercial, industrial, retail, multifamily properties in the market. Every year, Post Falls is a shining star in the wrong area, vacancies. The main reason is approximately 180,000 square feet of vacant space at the outlet malls that has been vacant for years and years and years. Thomas Tedder comes along, he buys the first 2 phases of the outlet malls, about 170 to 180,000 square feet. Thomas will, they make holsters. Who would have thought? They're occupying the building on the south side of the road. On the north side, his intention was to wait a year or 2, make improvements to that building, and then find tenants to lease it out. Well, if you read the newspaper, Nils Rosdahl, every week he has a list of new companies and new businesses that are coming into that north side. And that's without the Tedders even really marketing it. So $170,000, 170,000 square feet of vacant space is no longer there. It's occupied, which is great news for the city of Post Falls. Then we get a call from our friends at Jobs Plus, Ginny and formerly in Jobs Plus, Jamie, who's talking to us about a company called Project Foxtrot. And if you don't understand when they're, or if you're not aware, when they are talking with companies looking to relocate, they all have a project name. And that is because if they're applying for any of the few but thus far effective state incentives we have, they can't come out with the name of the company until it's already been applied for and awarded, etc. So Project Foxtrot's coming to town. So we have a dinner one night, and there are four folks from Orville is the name of the company. They're site selector, and we set up a dinner, and it was myself, staff. We had Kootenai County Fire and Rescue was represented, Jobs Plus, county commissioners, mayors from Hayden and Coeur d'Alene were out for support. Not sure if I'm forgetting anybody, but we have a discussion with them, and their site selector is leading the meeting off, and he says, we're not talking about the company tonight. We're having a dinner, and he says, we're going to do that tomorrow. Tonight, we want to know about Post Falls and North Idaho. So we had a great discussion, not learning anything about their company, but telling them what we offer here in Post Falls. The next day, we had the official meeting with the site selector, who again, as we have been told, is extremely demanding, difficult to work with. He does his job well, in other words. So we sit down at this meeting, and they're telling us, the site selectors and folks from Oregon, what they need in order to buy the Kimball building and open a distribution center in Post Falls. County commissioners were wonderful. They were in the process, right in the middle of their Board of Equalization hearings, and they can't meet with you two at a time, or three at a time, unless they notice the meeting, because it's a public meeting. So in between their hearings on equalization, which is tax appeals, they took time to talk with us. Is that better?
You're good.
They took time to talk with us one-on-one, so we kind of gave them a heads up as to what we were looking at. Couldn't tell them who the company was yet. So staff, myself, Jobs Plus, and the company folks met over at the chamber office. They told us what they wanted, what they were going to have, and again, very demanding. Shelley and Jenny and myself jumped in the car, drove into the county where they had scheduled a meeting. The commissioners broke to talk to us. We explained what we need. And we not only got support, we got overwhelming, unanimous support from all three commissioners to what they would do as far as tax abatement. So we got to come back and tell these folks, we got what you want. And it was probably 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, we got the call, Orgle's coming to Post Falls. I mention this because it's 140 jobs. Orgle's a company that's about 170 years old. It's family owned. They have revenue in excess of $2 billion. They pay well, and they're fully benefited jobs. So up 80, down 220, up 300, and now we got 140 coming back. So the numbers are looking very good. But I had the opportunity to meet with Orgle's CEO, Ron Beal, their Senior Vice President, Randy Williams, both from Memphis, Tennessee, and Vice President Mark Scanlon, who's in Hurricane, Utah. And he will be overseeing this area, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mark's looking to be up here at least part-time. So we will have some of those folks here. They're not bringing very many jobs with them. They anticipate 140 jobs, and I don't think they're bringing but maybe 8 or 10 of them. The rest will be new, hired locally. So it's a great deal for us. Other news is ALK Obeo out in Riverbend Commerce Park is undergoing a $14 million expansion. ALK is headquartered in Denmark, and they're a global research-driven pharmaceutical company that focuses on prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of allergies. Have 140 employees now, and they hope to add another 10 to 15. So we've got that kind of company in Post Falls. A lot of people don't even know they're here. And we heard from both these folks earlier, but both Kootenai Health and Northwest Specialty Hospitals are expanding along Mullen Avenue. Kootenai Health is in the process of completing a $10.5 million expansion. They have 75 current employees and plan to add another 45 by the end of 2017. Northwest Specialty Hospital continues to expand, acquire property, attract physicians, and they currently are at about 250 employees. Medical industry in Post Falls is alive and well. And those are just those two hospitals. We've got great individual practitioners, great groups. In addition to that, we also have the Rehabilitation Hospital in the Northwest and the Northern Idaho Advanced Care Hospital and the Pleasant View Surgical Hospital. Who would have thought that we've got 2 surgical hospitals in Post Falls? So again, medical industry is doing well, and that's a great industry to have. Goodwill Industries is moving from the current location on Southeast Avenue out to 16th Avenue and Highway 41. And then I saw Jerry Kane. The school district had a busy year. The school district completed a new elementary school at Greens Fair. You remodeled Frederick Post. You added some much needed space to the Post Falls High School. And what I appreciate is the money wasn't there when the high school was built. And you passed, I believe it was a levy to add the auditorium, gymnasium. So the high school, which is a tremendous facility, is being completed now. So that's great news as well. If you drive along Mullen Avenue, you see additional commercial and retail activity. And I was driving in on West Saltish the other day and noticed the same thing out there. There are buildings going on that I'm not sure what they are. I need to get out and find out. There's construction going on all over. A month or two ago, there was a presentation from Greg Green and Sean Swanby from FatBeam. FatBeam donated high-speed fiber to the University of Idaho. $3.2 million donation. That donation will help the University of Idaho open a cybersecurity training and operations center lab. Again, cybersecurity, as you know, is probably one of the biggest issues that we face in the business world and in the other world right now. University of Idaho, almost said North Idaho College, University of Idaho will be able to offer full education in that capacity. There are several previously approved projects that are processing planned unit development amendments and zone changes, and we anticipate seeing growth in these and other areas in 2017. So what else took place during 2016? How about the Greens Ferry overpass? We wanted to put a bridge in, and I still get people saying, why isn't it a full interchange? We tried. The Federal Highway Administration said, nope. Idaho Department of Transportation said, nope. So City of Post Falls says, we'll do it ourselves. So with the help of Urban Renewal, who headed the project and did a tremendous job, built a bridge connecting the north and south sides of the freeway. It came in, to my knowledge, I know Len's out there, about $15 million, which was significantly lower than I think the 18 to 19 million that was projected. So again, tremendous project, and tell us no, we'll find a way to get it done. So Len, you and Urban Renewal, thank you for your hard work on that. Wastewater, I'll talk about it in a minute. That's kind of an interesting thing to talk about at lunch, but staff was looking, and we will have to do some land application. Now, land application is clean water. It's been treated, it's clean. We have property out on the prairie. Staff says, you know, there's some property across the river that we may be, from the wastewater plant, that we may be able to pick up and use for land application. So they were able to work on it. The city acquired 248 acres, and it cost us $6.5 million. The 2013 facility plan that's in place projected a cost of $28.8 million for the prairie reuse project, which again, pipe it out onto the prairie, in addition to having acquired another $8.7 million in land. So $28 million plus 8 for more land, we can probably handle more of the effluent on this new property than we could out there. And the cost was $6.5 million. Now, we'll have to get it piped over and set up a distribution center, et cetera, distribution system. But again, it's got staff looking out for the betterment of Post Falls and kind of coming up with an outstanding alternative for that. Highway 41, the trail out there, well, there wasn't a trail, and it was a death trap. We had people pushing baby strollers, people riding bicycles. It was awful. A grant was applied for. It was delayed, but we finally got it, and the pass under the freeway on Highway 41 is now complete. And my hope is we'll see that continue to go out north. And it would be wonderful to see it go all the way out to Rathdrum. And I think eventually it will, but anytime you're dealing with ITD, it's difficult. So we'll see what happens. Spencer Street was expanded to punch through to Southeast Way. And again, it just increases the connectivity from the folks on the south side of Celtice to be able to get out to Celtice without having to go to Cedar or any of the other roads there, Ross Point Road. As traffic picks up, we're going to need more and more access points, so that should help a lot. We're also involved in a hopeful property exchange with the county. The county had a driver's license bureau out in Post Falls years ago and then shut it down. So if you need to get your driver's license renewed, you could do what former Mayor Clay Larkin always says he did. He'd drive up to Wallace and get it done. Because it would take less time to go to Wallace and have lunch with your spouse, get your license renewed, and get back to Coeur d'Alene. So the county is now going to reopen the driver's license bureau in Post Falls. And they want to put them in the space where the current Department of Motor Vehicles is. What they will do then is they purchase the Rebecca building, which is right adjacent to it, and that's where the new DMV will go. So the city is working and has made an offer on the Eagles property, and the intent is if we can acquire the Eagles property, we will swap that with the county for a piece of property they have on Spokane and Railroad, which now gives the city control of the corner on Spokane Street, whether it be used for a project, whether it be used for parking, we're not sure, but it's something we need to try to accomplish. So I mention that because it's pretty tough. I don't have to worry about negotiations because the article is in the newspaper, so I think they know it's coming. Something else I'd like to talk about briefly is streetlights. City of Post Falls for the 5th year in a row would have had a balanced budget with no increase. We had someone who was going to sue the cities because streetlight fees were illegal. We had 2 outside opinions, legal opinions, and probably more important, a legal opinion for our esteemed in-house attorney. I had to give you plug one. That said he was right, and that it was probably an illegal fee. So the problem with that is now has to be transferred over to a real estate tax. Idaho being an ad valorem tax state, what you pay is dependent on the value of your home. So people are paying $3.85 a month for streetlights on the utility bills, and it was $550,000 to $600,000 annually. That's no longer coming in. We still have to pay it. Only way the city can pay it then is to get it, put it on the tax roll. So we had to take a 3% tax increase and the 3% foregone taxes. Other than that, would have been a balanced budget. We received some criticism for that, but there are other cities that did not address the tax light situation, took an increase, de-annexed urban renewal property, but yet we were the ones not being fiscally prudent. So I just want to let you know, it would have been a balanced budget without taking these increases to offset the streetlight fees. But I know, council myself felt it was not a prudent move for us to risk being sued, which we probably will be, and having to defend a lawsuit that, based on legal opinion, we could not win to the tune, and it would still cost us probably in excess of $100,000 to find out that we were wrong. So again, that's the reason for the tax increase and why we took it. Coeur d'Alene Celtice Way. Steve Widmeyer called me a while back, oh gosh, probably a year ago, and said, would the city of Post Falls be willing to work with the city of Coeur d'Alene in the development of Celtice Way? Because Coeur d'Alene's running out of room to areas to grow, so they want to grow west on Celtice. I said, we'll do whatever we can, but that's not our area of emphasis right now. We have all sorts of growth going out on the north part of town. And so I thought it was kind of probably something maybe that might come up in the future. We were at a 3-on-3, which is 3 members of Urban Renewal, 3 members of the city, discussion, and the Urban Renewal Agency suggested maybe we look at East Celtice Way. If Coeur d'Alene's coming this way, maybe we can do something through Urban Renewal to go to the east. So again, that's something that I think makes sense, and there's nothing in place right now. But I know the city of Coeur d'Alene has done focus group studies to find out what they need to do. So hopefully we're going to see some improvements along Celtice Way as well. The city has invested in community infrastructure. Our parks budget for maintenance, this is everything except capital improvements, $1.3 million. We have 22, 24 parks or higher. You get parkland when you can, and you develop it when you can. And you can't develop it all right away, it's too expensive. But they don't make land anymore, so we get it when we can. Streets, we added 4 miles of streets, which added about, last year, which added about $4 million in value. City also added about $1.35 million in value in curbs and gutters. You think, wow, do you really need that? Well, you do. And so again, you look at those numbers and they add up quickly. We've also budgeted $2.8 million for street maintenance in 2017. Another project going on is the 7th Street traffic mitigation. Compton, off Celtice, down to 7th Street to take pressure off Spokane and Celtice Way intersection. It's going to be nice. The problem that I have with it right now is that anytime you're doing a major project like that, the businesses along that route are going to be affected, and they are. So if you look, you've got Hunter's, you've got the coffee shop, you've got the Oval Office, the White House to a certain extent, you've got famous Willie's, you've got Tilly's. Please, patronize those people. Go to those restaurants, help them survive. This is going to be great when it's done, but any time you're in a construction project, it's difficult for the businesses involved. The city, there's a particular gentleman that continues to chastise the city because he does not feel we are active enough in the ADA Act, American with Disability. Doesn't think we're doing enough. I want to let you know, all new projects are ADA in ADA compliance. In addition, the city is budgeting $140,000 for 2017, and we've also applied for an additional state grant of $65,000 to help bring up some of the deficiencies that we know exist and are trying to resolve. So we take it very seriously. There's a park out in Tullamore finally going in. This park should have been put in place over 10 years ago. The market tanked. Long drawn-out situation. Dave and his crew worked with the developer. We get not only that park will be developed, it'll be developed by the city with impact fees, but the developer also, we worked a deal with them to where we will pick up about 20, 25 acres on the north part of Tullamore, and that will become a sports complex down the road. So it's important to put these improvements in up front, because if they're going to do it in phases, the phases are usually down the road, which is what happened here. So I think we've made good changes to correct that. So it's been a good year, but I do have some concerns. One of the concerns I have, and maybe not everybody shares it with me, is the number of multifamily units we have. City of Post Falls, last time I checked, had 579 multifamily units under construction or approved. It's important that we have apartment houses. It's critical. But I think we have to look at the impact they have. If we have someone building a 579-unit subdivision, the impact is going to be felt over time. On multifamily, once they're completed, they're occupied, and the impact is immediate. So I think we need to be cognizant of the number of units we have. I look at the number going in Coeur d'Alene, and I just shake my head. Apparently there's people who live in them, but it's a huge number. I think we need to be aware of it. The point, out by Cabela's, we used our legislation to put in Beck Road interchange, thinking that was really going to jumpstart that area. It hasn't done it yet. There's some activity, but that area is just prime for development. And that's what we need with the improvements that have been put in out there. We need to see that area developed. The landings, old LP mill site, there was a great plan put in place, but unfortunately the gentleman that put the plan in place lost it to the lender. So it's been somewhat dormant, or very dormant. There's a marina that has not been used for the last couple of years. We did meet with someone that's looking. They've told us they've got an arrangement worked out with the now owner of the property to bring the marina back to life, and there was a law firm that did work and felt they were owing fees, so the title to the property is clouded. They made claims on it. These folks are telling us that they will bring the marina back to life, they'll clear up the title on the property, and then they hope to maybe build one more condo unit building down there. So create some activity is the hope. We met with a developer that we had quite a discussion with a couple of commercial realtors and 2 developers, and they stated that, what do you want to see down there, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, I don't want to see multifamily. I mean, that's a premier piece of property. It can be and should be downtown Post Falls. And the term came up, it needs to be a destination. And I agree wholeheartedly, destination. You've got Post Falls Brewing on the south end, you've got the Oval Office and the White House on the north end. You've got several establishments in between. We need to create more of that. We need to tie that all together. So they brought back the first plan, and the first plan had 127 single-family homes. I said, I can't support that. This is an area that's supposed to be a destination, downtown Post Falls. We don't need another neighborhood. So we'll see what happens, but there are people kicking the tires over there. I mentioned wastewater. We just completed a $14.5 million, or just completing, project at the wastewater plant. Over the next 10 to 15 years, we'll spend in excess of $100 million on the wastewater plant just to try to maintain what we need to maintain and to adhere to the requirements set forth by the EPA. That's a big number. We're going to continue to work on a collaborative basis with the Chamber, with the University of Idaho, with North Idaho College, Department of Commerce, Department of Labor. Again, we don't do this on our own. We do it together. The City of Post Falls is stepping up our efforts on the economic development front, not to compete with Jobs Plus, but to enhance what they offer. They do a great job for us, and we want to take a more active role in helping bring good business to the area. We have an outstanding urban renewal agency. Throughout the state, when people want to know how urban renewal agencies should operate, they look at Post Falls. Post Falls has done a tremendous job, very well thought of. Right now, they are in a little bit of a lull, having completed several projects, Spokane Street, Bridge, to mention just a few. But they're willing and ready to jump in and assist whenever need be, because there are not very many incentives offered by the state of Idaho, and urban renewal is one of them, so we appreciate their efforts. The commissioners, Park and Recreation, Urban Renewal, Planning and Zoning, these folks are the volunteers that do a lot of the heavy lifting for the city. They really do make our job easier. And we appreciate all those people that volunteer their time, and they're paid handsomely for it, or not at all. But we appreciate the efforts that you guys put forth. I consistently hear how good it is, how good it is for people to deal with the City of Post Falls. I spoke to the North Idaho Building Contractors Association Governance Committee a few weeks ago. After the meeting, the gentleman came up to me and said, I typically build in the county, but he said, I gotta let you know I had my first venture in the city of Post Falls, and it was outstanding. It was easy to work. They were easy to work with. They got the job done. Another gentleman and his father developed in North Dakota and Hawaii. He came up and told me they are amazed at the process in Post Falls and how fluent it is and how good our people are to deal with. And that goes right back to staff. I think you probably know I'm a huge supporter of our police department. You've got police officers being targeted across the country. We've had, in the last 2 weeks, we've had an abduction and murder. We've had a suicide. And in Coeur d'Alene, they had a drowning. The impact that those events have on our first responders, I don't know if any of us can understand them because we're not there. But our first responders, Kootenai County Fire and Rescue, our police department, are outstanding. They're second to none. People are telling me how surprised they were on the Bo Kirk situation, how surprised they were with the expedience with which arrests were made. I wasn't surprised. When you look at our PD, Coeur d'Alene's PD, Kootenai County Sheriff's Department, FBI was involved. We have first-class people, folks, and they do a tremendous job for us. Which leads me into the next comment, not to be critical, not to pick a fight, but for clarification purposes. October 11th, there was an article that states, Taser case settled for $1 million plus. In the article, it stated they declined to comment what part of that settlement would be paid by Kootenai County, Post Falls Police Department, City of Post Falls, and the medical service provider at the jail. There was a correction posted in the paper the next day, but I didn't see it. I was looking for it, and Shelley Underwood had to point out where it was for me. The reason I mention it is, I was in a meeting yesterday with a couple of judges and a couple of attorneys, and the topic came up, and they said, well, what was Post Falls share of that damage award? Zero. The judge dismissed all charges against the City of Post Falls Police Department. It was the officer, chief, and the city. We paid nothing. That doesn't say that what happened wasn't tragedy, but it was not due to the actions of the Post Falls Police Department. There is so much criticism, so many dangers for our police officers. I just hate to see negativity like that come out. So again, gentlemen, thank you for all your efforts. Finally, we're in November, and there's some great charities that were mentioned today, and I want to mention a couple as well. November is Homeless Awareness Month. St. Vincent de Paul operates a warming center in Post Falls. Last year, they were open 77 nights. Cost about $225 a night plus donations. They house up to 36 men per night. They are just getting ready to kick that off again because it should be another busy year for them. So I ask, keep them in mind when you reach for your checkbooks. Post Falls Food Bank, I had the opportunity to listen to a presentation of Post Falls Food Bank a week ago. 55% of the students in the Post Falls School District qualify for free or reduced lunches. That's atrocious. Let's do what we can do to make sure those food bank shelves are stocked so we can provide the food to those who are in most need. In addition, Holidays and Heroes will be kicking off December 11th. Holidays and Heroes. It's all the first responders. The school districts pick the kids that need the help. I know Carrie has been out there, I believe, where they take these kids shopping. They get to buy for their family. Someone's buying for the child. They take them out. They have a Christmas party. And it is a tremendous opportunity. So I get many wonderful charities, but I ask, keep those three in mind because especially this time of year, as we head into holiday seasons, they will need additional assistance. So in closing, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today. I want to thank staff because the staff is who makes my job easier. I've got a tremendous council. We take care of business and we go home. Very seldom are there contentious issues. It's not because anyone's not willing to speak up. It's because we're all there for the betterment of the city, and we work really well together. So again, thank you to Shelley, all the department heads, your staff, council, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve as your mayor. It's hard to believe it's my third year, and the third time I've given the state of the city, which means I got 1 year left. But again, it's always a tremendous opportunity to speak before you today. So thank you very much.